All right, there we go. We are recording, so we are live. We want to thank everybody for being here. I am Jill, or I am Shanna.
And I would be Jill. We're Detox girls.
Yes, we're the Detox girls.
Well, we keep it fun because,
all at once.
because as you know, we're here for entertainment. So we're just going to start right out with the entertainment.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us in this very special live Zoom. We're going to record it. We'll probably not be able to put it out into the universe without having some privacy on our private platform, which we're working on. Okay, so I'm going to start out because we are going to have a disclaimer first, and then we're going to do some introductions. So hi, everybody. Okay, all right. Okay. Oh, you're so cute.
I did it. I'm getting it.
Got it. Okay, so the information provided in this presentation, any discussion, any posts, any comments, anything we participate in is intended for educational and entertainment purposes only. Good job, Shanna. It's not intended, nor should it be used for medical care or advice. It should not be used in formulating a diagnosis or medical treatment plan. It is not intended to diagnose, cure, treat, prevent any illness or disease. Please contact your medical physician or practitioner with any medical questions or concerns, because we just want to keep you safe and we're just here for fun.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right. So everybody is here for this super exciting Zoom. We are so excited to have Caroline back with us.
Yes. If anybody missed Dr. Dory's presentation last week, you missed the beginning of what Caroline was showing us, and we're excited to bring you even more.
Mm-hmm.
So it would be worth going back and watching Dr. Dory's as well, because we have the next segment on that. So if you want to go to the next screen, I'm going to introduce Caroline.
And so everybody knows, Caroline was with us once before whenever we talked about restructuring blood and how to restructure your blood. So we are very, very excited to have her back with us. Yes. And I have no idea. Oh, what did I do? I have no idea why there's a red mark on the screen. But
yeah, I saw that show up when I was reading the disclaimer.
I'm going to leave it because I'll mess something up.
That's fine. No problem. So Caroline is, this is Caroline Mansfield. She'll show up here in a second. She is a naturopath with a special interest in anti-aging, women's health, hormones, including breast cancer prevention strategies via diet and nutrition. She has 20 years of clinical experience consulting, and she's got her own business called the Natural Health Clinic. She's also a live blood, why do I have to read this one? A live blood microscopist, with certifications in dark field, live, and dry blood microscopy. Oh goodness. We need microscopy. Can I just call it that? So welcome, Caroline. Thank you so much for being here. Our special guest, our friend. We are so proud to have you here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for having me on again. It's going to be really interesting, I think, for people to see some of the slides we've got today.
We are so excited. Okay. There she is. Yay.
Welcome,
welcome.
I should just say live blood analysis. Yeah, analyst.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, see, I've been saying it for years, so.
Yes, yes. So you switch the words because, you know, that's Shanna and I each have a little speech thing going on. Some days are better than others. Okay, so we're going to let Caroline, we're just going to jump right in because honestly, everything, it's probably going to run a little bit late and everything is really exciting. We were doing a little bit of a preview to make sure the screen share worked, and we had a lot of this.
Yeah.
So hold on to your hat, and here we go. We're going to let Caroline take the wheel.
Okay, all right. So let me just have a quick look here. I'm going to share the screen. And yeah, here we go. So I don't know who saw the video with Dr. Dory, but these are kind of like behind the scenes videos that we didn't show. So like me putting together the experiment, and then on Dr. Dory's show, we showed the end of the experiment. So let's just show you what we where we got the ingredients from for the experiment on Dr. Dory's show. So I'm going to kick off with the first video, which we were talking about, hang on a moment, some magnetic particles in certain medications. And I just want to show you how we came about discovering that. I saw a video online where someone had showed that a certain capsule had a magnetic side to it. And I thought, let's try and replicate that study because I was intrigued by it. So I found an old antibiotic packet, and this is what I discovered. So this is just me, just, you know, filming while I'm just discovering. So you're kind of going on the journey with me here. Oops. So I was quite intrigued to find that actually one side of the capsule was magnetic.
That's wild.
So I thought, okay, let's try and go a bit deeper here. And the next video. I decide to break it open. That's the antibiotic powder. And let's see. So the color side, the orange color side, is not magnetic. Boom.
Wow.
So I was thinking, wow, that is actually true.
What blew me away is because I always, whenever you think about something being in an antibiotic, I always thought it was the medication inside. So what blows me away is this is the actual side of the capsule.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. Well, this also begs to differ why, is there, you know, do you have an allergy to a medication, or do you have an allergy to what is encapsulating that medication? I mean, there's so many factors.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So I go to the next video for you. So I decide to pick it up and drop it into some lukewarm water, just sort of replicating the stomach temperature really. Push about to get it dissolved and see what we find. At this point, I didn't know what I was going to find. I was just intrigued. Oh, let's just see what happens. So fast forward a few minutes, it's all dissolved. Then I decanter it into another glass, which is a bit thinner, because I want the magnet to see whether it can pull anything from the solution. So you can't actually see anything there. It's all dissolved. And you can see tiny little particles just settling. And then we put the magnet up to it and let's see what happens. And I was quite shocked actually.
Wow.
So it almost looks like a school of fish, just being pulled along by the magnet.
It even leaves a trail behind it.
Yeah. And at this point, I was like really intrigued. I thought I just like really desperate to get it under the microscope to see what these look like. So that was the next part of the experiment. And in this slide, it was difficult to grab hold of. I tried to put like a metal spoon in to get hold of the bits, but they kept floating away. So then I decided the only way to really get them out was to get them to go onto the end of the magnet. Which was a bit tricky to film and do at the same time, but we got there in the end.
It almost like separates and comes back together and separates there.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's like just, you know, hoovering it up in a way. Just anything there is being picked up. I think a little bit got left behind. And then we've got this substance on the end of the magnet. And then I put it on the slide, and I actually put a little bit of the solution of the water on with the black stuff, and I put a cover slip on it as well, and then I put it under the microscope, and this is the first thing that I saw, which totally freaked me out.
Oh my gosh, this
Black spot we saw being pulled around by the magnet, I put under the microscope, and ew, I get a horrible face, like an alien face showing up onto my microscope.
That's scary to me. I'm sorry. It's just.
Yeah, it was horrible because I'm just used to analyzing blood and I've never seen anything like this before. So to me, it was like, oh my God, what is that? You know, it's just freaky. And I think it's just by pure coincidence that we're seeing an alien face, right? But it was just, it gave me a horrible feeling, to be honest. I thought, what are we dealing with here?
Wow.
So, and then most part, the particles in the solution look like this. So they look like very uneven surface, blobbly bits. Some are longer, some are smaller. But a very rough surface. This is what those black things floating around look like.
Wow.
So I did a little bit of research on potentially what they are. So when I looked up the ingredients of the capsule, it said that it had a colouring which was iron oxide. And I did a bit of research with Dr. Dory, and we discovered that there's a synthetic iron oxide that's used as a colouring for pharmaceuticals, and a few other things, as Jill discovered while we were chatting.
Yes. Is it okay if we stop here for one quick second and just, Shanna and I did a quick research, very quick on this. So the iron oxide is also found in your cosmetics, which is really important to know. And then I read this: iron oxide nanoparticles also diminish the intracellular level of glutathione with a peak response at 6 hours post-treatment. So something to keep in mind, that when you have, even when you're using your daily cosmetics, if you're wondering why your glutathione is lowering, we talk about this all the time when Clayton was saying, it's not that you're low in glutathione, it's that you're high in toxicity. Mm-hmm. So sort of a balance between making sure that we're removing heavy metals to support the ability for the glutathione to work in the body as it naturally should.
Right. And we also found that it creates acute cytotoxicity. So if you guys don't know what cytokine storms are, go in the group, search it. We do have some information on that. We don't want to take up the time on this presentation with that, but it does that. It creates ROS, which is reactive oxygen species. It does, let's see. It destroys cell proliferation and functionality. So, and it degrades the cell. So that's mind-boggling to me, that something would be in something that most people consume every single day, and it's actually degrading your cells on a cellular level. Right. And then if you have high amounts of other toxicities like mercury, that destroys your liver, it goes into your endocrine system, your spleen, everything. And then you have this that is also toxic. Really the amount of what your body is dealing with blows my mind whenever you get down to it and really look at what's in the things that are normally consumed. And then you go into what Jill and I have said for a long time. You go into what doctors categorize as disease, and you're really just looking at toxicity that's been named a label.
Right. And when is the last time you went to a doctor and we discussed toxicity? We discussed the heavy metals that you're consuming every day, the medications that not only are encapsulated in heavy metals, but also degrade the microbiome. I mean, we go through this in our group every time. We go through this probably in every single live. It really comes down to toxicity and what you're putting in, and what we think is okay is now very clearly proven that it's not as normal as we thought it was.
Yeah. And we know that with antibiotics, it can take, 9 months plus on your own to rebuild your gut microbiome. Well, whenever you put in this iron oxide, and we're going to see something else in a minute, no wonder, no wonder.
Right. So I wanted to just really quickly, because this is something that I deal with myself, and something I wasn't really aware of, but now I am, and makes perfect sense. Should be informed that the iron oxide nanoparticles can also cause long-lasting skin discoloration, brown areas of the skin. So
Age spots.
Yep. So the grandma's old liver spots, which are age spots, which are melasma. Yep, iron oxide.
Yeah, and they're linked to a lack of glutathione as well, right?
Yes.
So it's interesting, the whole thing links up here. Yeah,
it does.
It all comes together.
So then I found that there was possibly something else I was looking at under the microscope. It wasn't just this iron oxide, and I'll show you why afterwards, but there was some other substance that looked slightly different. So let me just put that big screen. So I'm moving the magnets over the slide. These bits move. Now these look slightly different to the previous picture we saw.
Right.
They're kind of flat. And I was thinking, what is that? That's interesting. What am I seeing here? I just didn't know. And here's another example of it here. So we'll start moving. They're like pieces, or they're like sheets of something.
That's a completely different substance. It doesn't look anything like the iron oxide.
No. So it just got my mind thinking, what could this be? And I remember seeing a video by, is it Dr. Ruby? She was on one of the shows. Yeah. And she was talking about another substance called graphene oxide. So let me just have a look at this next video. Oops. Now this is just to show you an example. When I'm moving the bits and pieces with the magnet, I'm about 4 inches away a lot of the time. It's really highly magnetized for such tiny little particles, and that there is definitely, that's a different substance than the one we just saw previously. It's a very sort of rough, jagged edge.
Is the little bitty specks, is that the iron oxide? And then this larger piece, is that other substance?
The big piece you can see, I believe that's iron oxide.
The big pieces, okay.
The bits you can see floating around the background, that's actually antibiotic.
Oh, okay.
And this is an old antibiotic capsule from 2013. So, and it's still active. I was quite surprised by that. It's like, highly active pieces of bacteria. Okay, so I decided I need to do a little bit of research and find out what iron oxide looks like, online under the microscope. And then I found this picture, and I thought this really looks similar to the bit we just saw, right? The previous video.
Yep.
Right.
And then I thought, what does graphene oxide look like under a microscope? And then it came up with this picture. And I thought, that's interesting. That kind of looks similar to the other substance, but I'm not saying it is. But, and here's another shot of graphene oxide. This is 5,000 times magnification. This is right up close. The magnification I'm using is 2,200 on the screen. So, yeah.
And I think with research, we see that with graphene oxide, that because we've gone over this in another one, so also you can look in the group for that. So I won't go too in depth, but graphene oxide is almost used as almost like a catalyst. It'll sheet cover things and change their polarity and carry them throughout the body. So I think it's really interesting because whenever you saw the other substance, yeah, it does. It looks like a sheet.
Yeah, it's very different. I can see there's two different substances in this solution. They're not the same.
And that other substance is not on the ingredients list on the.
No.
Mm-mm.
So that was how you determined that, that's how you figured out the iron oxide. So not only in your research looking for other magnifications, but you did locate the company and then locate the ingredients.
Yeah, so we located the company that supplied the iron oxide, the synthetic iron oxide, to the pharmaceutical companies, and their particles, it notes down positive. You know, they have a positive charge, and that's why I thought I'd go on to do an experiment with Cleanslate to see how that reacts with these positive particles, because now I've captured some positive particles, and let's put Cleanslate to the test. That was the idea, you know.
Yes.
And if you go to Dr. Dory's video, then you'll see all how that panned out. But basically the substance in the water became less magnetized. Okay, there was less pull after 48 hours of the Cleanslate being in the solution with this black substance. And as I said, under the microscope, I wanted to see, so this is part of Dr. Dory's experiment we did. Hang on. And can you see there's the iron oxide particle. Can you see the ultraviolet?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a zeolite crystal that's nearby. So you see the two together, because I put the as I just said, the Cleanslate in with solution this time.
It's beautiful.
I really wanted to capture, yeah, and I really wanted to capture a bit of zeolite crystal, you know, hooking onto one of these iron oxide because it's positively charged. So let's escape there. And then this is what I did find. I was so happy to find that. So on here you can see a piece of iron oxide captured into the zeolite crystal. And it took me a little while to find that, and I was so pleased. Like,
That is so cool.
Yeah.
It looks like it's eating it almost.
Yeah. It's you know, when I did the experiment I explained on the previous video, at one point, because the viscosity is different from this solution to blood, which I usually work with, there was a lot of air bubbles and things that had, you know, come under the slide when I tried to capture the water, and the water was coming out, you know, the edges of the slide. But right along the edge was this airlock, and there was a piece of this iron oxide floating along, going towards the crystal. And I was trying to capture it, and I was thinking, I wonder if it's going to hook on, you know. And it went ding, and it just hooked on. I thought, oh my God, I've just seen something that probably everybody would want to see, you know, who takes Cleanslate, you know, it's cleaning up. So I'm going to try and mimic that again. I'm going to try and get that on film for everybody at some point.
We're going to get you a tripod.
Pardon?
We'll get you a tripod to put your camera.
Yeah, that's it.
And
Yeah, because as I say, I just usually do live blood analysis. It's, you know, I'm not set up to do all this really. So it was just fun to try and capture what I could.
I love that picture because it shows, you know, when we looked at that first picture that looked like the alien, and it just looked so, just
But this-
felt so dark, right? And then to see the clean slate and to see how light it is, and it just
Yeah.
feels, it just
It
feels right.
has a almost like an energy aura around it.
Yes.
Yeah, it has a totally different energy. It's
Mhm.
just right. It makes me feel happy when I look at the crystals. You know, when I first did that video with Clayton, that it just uplifts you. And you know, compared to the other picture when I first looked at the black substance, it just absolutely did the opposite feeling for me.
Yes.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And again, that's the restructure your blood video that we did that is in our group as well.
Yep.
So I just wanted to show also, because you were wanting me to show some of that restructuring, you know, that we
Yes.
picked up on that first video. So this is one of the lines, and the crystals seem to form these lines in the solution and be on the lines.
So cool.
Yeah, and I've redone that experiment again, and it did happen again, which we showed on Dr. Dory's video as well. Just adding a little bit more. These lines had appeared, and the crystals, and then just even more. So
Looks like
There's an intelligence to it. That's not something that happens just willy-nilly. There's actually an intelligence to what Cleanslate is doing. It's almost like it looks to me almost like a fishing net, like it's creating a net to kind of trap, I would assume, like maybe to trap everything, or I don't know. It's cool.
I don't know, it's interesting. And Dr. Christina Rahm was talking about this on the call with Dr. Dory, and explaining that there is a quantum aspect to the product, and why that was, through the proprietary formulation. And
Right.
Yeah, it was just so good to be able to see that. And the harmonics, I think also, this sort of like unusual formation here
That's amazing.
came through. And we've got
So I'll
crystal-
never be able to say it as well as Dr. Christina, and she did say it at the end of Dr. Dory's video. So this is why we wanted to have Caroline on, because we knew that there was more. So this is like part 2. So if you haven't seen part 1 from last week, we really encourage you to watch that. And at the end, Dr. Christina came on and she was talking about how the reason Cleanslate is so different is that she does use intention and frequency, and I get goosebumps every time I think about it, but she says that she was singing during the formulations, and that's, it's the frequency that goes into it, and it's the love and the intention and the quantum aspect. And that is why, and they use polarization and fracking and magnets. I mean, this is why when people try to compare Cleanslate to just any other zeolite, I found a cheap zeolite powder on Amazon.
Right.
I can guarantee there is no female biotechnologist singing to their zeolites with polarization and fracking and magnets and quantum, it just, I don't know. There's just something special about it. And when you look at this, it just feels special.
Yeah, I agree. It's been such a pleasure to work with this product. I must say, I've been surprised ever since I, started looking at it under the microscope. What else have we got here? And this one was like Starship Enterprise. This little crystal, I just thought it was amazing.
That's so cool.
Would you say the black around it is that it has absorbed?
I think
Or
it's the
is it-
negative charge. It's like repelling.
Okay.
So the
Repelling.
outside of the red blood cell, it has a negative charge as well. And that's why in a healthy solution with red blood cells, they should be just bouncing off each other. And the beauty of seeing this is that when we have the iron oxide, which is a positive charged particle, which all pollution is, and heavy metals, etc., then we know there's going to be that attraction between the zeolite and these particles that need to come out of our body. So yeah, so I think it's just
So
it's like
cool.
a force field around it, right?
That is so cool. It almost looks like a star.
Yeah. Shooting
Yeah,
star.
it does. It's like a little universe, isn't it?
Wow.
This is my
Just up close.
favorite.
That is my favorite.
Yeah,
The color in that is just,
I know, it's magical, isn't it? It's
magical. Yes.
just beautiful. And then I've got some other, there's another.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, you can almost make artwork out of this. You could start putting them up, you know, framed pictures, or do something with them.
I was just thinking that last one, when you said magical, I thought that would be beautiful on the wall.
Mm-hmm. I actually told my daughter, she's an artist. I was like, will you paint this for me so I can hang it up?
I've got an artist friend, or a few artist friends actually, and I ran this past him because he does this type of art. You know, he works with unusual, what do you call it? Sort of technology as such, where you can bring something to life like this.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this was so cool. Like,
So in this picture, towards the left-hand side, towards the bottom, Tanya just pointed out that it looks like there's a cross.
Mm-hmm.
oh, okay, yeah.
I love it. The footprint of the Lord is on everything. I love it.
Yeah. And what else have I got? And this one, yeah, it's not so, there's no detail in this one, but again, it just captures this force field around it.
I love that.
You know, it's like, may the force be with you.
That one reminds me of a butterfly. I feel like we're looking at the clouds, trying to
Oh,
identify. That one reminds me of a beautiful butterfly.
yeah.
Mhm. I could see that.
It's just, they're so beautiful. And then you asked me to just show some pictures of Restore, because I put those under the microscope as well.
Yes.
So I filmed it going down the eyepiece that I look at, because when you see the Restore on the slide, it doesn't light up like the crystals, obviously. So everything's kind of black and white in my dark field microscope, usually, apart from the crystals, okay? So when I looked at the Restore, it was beautiful, but that's what Restore looks like.
That is so pretty. It's little gold pieces.
Yeah, little gold pieces.
Wow.
And also just a few more pictures. That's just showing it, how we're looking at it under the slide. And a little bit more up close.
That's so cool. I could lock myself in the bedroom and just look at this kind of stuff all day long. It's so cool.
Yeah. It's not often we get to see things like this up close that we're putting inside our bodies, and when it's so beautiful as well. You know,
Yes.
that image while you're taking these products is important. I think this is a little, they've got the little sugar, what is it? Yeah,
Cane
when
sugar.
Cane sugar. I think that's a little piece of cane sugar.
It's so cute.
Yeah. And the turmeric obviously is just blasting it all with that beautiful orange. Yeah, so I think that's all the pictures that we got to share.
Wow.
Oh,
Awesome. Well, I'm going to open it up and just ask anybody in the comments if there's anything you want to see again, just type that in and we can ask Caroline to bring it back up on the screen. And then we'll answer questions.
Caroline, can you maybe explain a little bit about what you do in your everyday life, the clinic that you run, the testing that you do?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, I'm a naturopath, and I've been, I see clients obviously on a one-to-one basis. During the whole upside down state that the world's been in for the last couple of years, I've been doing more online consultations. So, and people have been reaching out to me from all over the world, you know, to deal with their health during this time. And during my consultations, if people want it, then we can do the live blood analysis as well. And I'm just beginning to open up a service which will be dry blood analysis, because with dry blood analysis, you don't need to be present. And it also picks up on a lot of imbalances within your system. So basically, I'll be sending out packs to people and with a video to show how they can take their blood. It's just on a slide, it's a pinprick, and you just put a few dots of blood on a slide, wait for it to dry, and you have everything you need to be able to send it back to me. So we're going to be able to monitor your blood that way through the post, as opposed to having to come to see me personally, which is always possible for people. So yeah, I'm really excited to be offering that in the new year as well.
And would
Yeah.
that be available overseas? Somebody said the blood the blood changes in an airplane?
So, oh no, that's going to be fine. It's just dry blood sample through the post. It's going to be fine. It wouldn't affect the sample. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So-
It's going to be a live blood vial or anything like that.
Right,
So it's dry.
No, it's
So-
just dried. Yeah.
When we go back into the group, we'll post about this in the group. And then if anybody's interested, they can comment and then we'll get them in touch with you and then they can see the cost, et cetera.
Yeah. No.
The process, the costs, and how to get a hold of you and everything. So we'll make a post on that in the group whenever we jump back in after the live.
Yes.
Somebody had asked, do you have any, have you seen any blood after any injections of any kind?
Yeah, so we covered this on the Dr. Dory video. So I just maybe go back and look at that video because there's
Okay.
lots of information on there.
Right.
Yeah, we do see changes in the blood, and yeah, it's difficult.
just-
Yeah.
Well, so just in general, Caroline shows her beautiful red, circular red blood cells as an example, and then shows the after effect, and they're very jagged is a good, probably a good word, but we will also go back into the group and post that video from Dr. Dory so that everybody has access to that as well.
Exactly.
Wonderful.
I thought we'd bring up Caroline's pretty face, so I stopped screen share, but we can go back if we need to.
Okay, so let's see if we have any other questions. I feel like it was, not that it was a lot to take in, but it was a lot to take in, and I feel like we're going to have questions after the fact. As soon as we jump back into the group, we're going to have questions. So if that's the case, that's not a problem. We'll get those answered.
Exactly. We'll make sure we have last week's video. We will post that in the group as well. It is on the Root Brands YouTube channel. We will post it in the group. We'll put it in the comments of this video once we post it up as well, so that everything's kind of together. So you can find Dr. Dory's video from last week, so you can watch them together. I'm just going through, just looking.
Yeah, just making sure as well. I think we may have covered everything. I thought
think we explained everything very well.
yes. So was that just one drop of Cleanslate?
Oh, in the solution? So no, I put 4 drops of Cleanslate in the solution and left it for 48 hours. After 24 hours, it didn't really show an awful lot of change, but after definitely 48 hours, there's less magnetic pull, interestingly.
Wow.
Can you list the ingredients that are found in cosmetics to watch out for? That is something we can do. We can try
to do a post on that
in the group. Yes. So we just wanted to say thank you, Caroline. This is really rare and a blessed opportunity that she's giving us. And we agree. We are so grateful for your friendship. We are so grateful to have connected with you. Your information and research and knowledge is amazing. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Oh, thank you so much, everybody. I just stumbled across this by accident. So I thought, well, it's information that people should really see. People can draw their own conclusions. I'm not a chemist, I'm just a naturopath, and I look at blood. So this has all been very new for me, but I just thought, because I have the ability to be able to look at things under the microscope, it's just nice to share it.
I just love that. Everybody doing their part to help everybody else. It's just the most beautiful thing. And it shows that there's hope for humanity.
Right. Yes. And that there are good doctors out there and good providers and good scientists and researchers and people that are on the mission to help people find their best health. So, as we said, we don't claim any cures, but we absolutely can tell you what the root products do, what they're formulated to do, what they're intended to do. And then once we start to clean up our body, our bodies are supposed to heal themselves. They were never intended to be sick. So if you can take out the bad and feed it the good and support and protect your body, as Dr. Christina says, it's amazing what can happen.
Yes.
What the body can do.
Can you say, Caroline, what, I don't know if you can or not, can you say what medication that you pulled apart, or I don't know?
Well, it was an antibiotic capsule. I don't think it's any secret because somebody already posted online. There was an amoxicillin capsule.
Okay.
And this was the one I looked at was flucoxacillin. That's
Okay.
one.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're quite standard antibiotics. And, you know, I just ask everyone, if you've got an antibiotic at home, do an experiment yourself and see what you come up with, you know.
Yep.
It's
That's
just
a really
across
good,
the board, isn't it? It'd be great if everyone tried to have a look themselves and report back.
Oh, I love that idea.
that's a
Yeah.
wonderful idea. I'm sure, I mean, most of us have somewhere, some bottle in the back of some cabinet or drawer. So
Yeah.
now I'm sitting here thinking, boy, I wish I would have done that before we popped on here. It's a great idea. So maybe
Yeah.
if anybody has anything at home and you're willing, you know, especially that stuff that's sitting around since 2008 and you want to pull it apart and you want to give it a try, film it, throw it in the comments or in our group, because I think the more we bring to light that we have to fight for our health and fight what has been put into our bodies all these years,
Yeah.
really important. Yes.
Yep.
If anyone comes across anything interesting, then just pop it in the post to me and I'll take a look at it, you know.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Somebody asked what prompted you to investigate the capsule?
Because I saw a video online. Somebody had just posted that they had recognized that, you know, I don't know how they discovered it themselves, that the black side of the capsule was magnetic. So, I mean, I'm just always like that. My brain is so inquisitive. So I thought, well, I'm going to go and investigate that and see. Yeah. So I just took it a bit further. Instead of just seeing it was magnetized, I put it under the microscope, and just one thing's led to another.
Exactly.
And was that just a regular magnet?
Yeah, it's just a regular, just something I had hanging around at home. It wasn't
But
even.
that looks like something that my husband has in the garage, and it is, you know, it's a good sturdy magnet. It's probably a little bit more than a refrigerator magnet.
Yeah, so I don't even know where I got it from. It's just like, it's got these little balls. I think it's sort of like a stress thing, you know.
Oh, cute. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So it's nothing special, but maybe a bit stronger than a fridge magnet, but that's about it. It's not a very strong magnet, you know. Yeah.
Any idea where those metallics would deposit when ingested if you didn't have Cleanslate?
Yeah, good point. Good point.
So
Yeah,
I would
it
think,
depends on the particle size, you know.
so I would think anywhere. I would think any,
I think all over the tissue.
or yeah.
Your intestinal lining is very, very thin, very thin. So, you know, we talk about cell permeability, but we also talk about the permeability with leaky gut. You know, if you have those little magnetic particles that are being deposited onto the lining of the intestines, you know, they're positively charged. So what are they doing? They're attracting all of the bacteria and everything to itself. And then you get these balls of bacteria, and then you have it almost eating through your gut lining. So that's one of the ways that you have permeability of leaky gut, is from all of that. And then it just degrades over time. And then your cells are torn down, so they can't restructure your gut lining appropriately because of what has to go on through mitosis and everything. So it's kind of a cascading effect. And then it gets into the bloodstream because you have permeability of your intestines. And then circulated up through the liver. There's all kinds of stuff. Sorry, go ahead, Caroline.
No, I was just going to say, in live blood analysis, you know, it's like the body's always trying to do whatever it can to heal itself, isn't it? And with live blood analysis, we see when people are toxic, we have things called protoplasts. So they're like cellular debris that all comes together. And possibly and potentially, you know, this is where some of the heavy metals would end up as well, inside these sort of toxic protoplasts. Yep. So if we see a lot of those in a live blood analysis session, we know this person has an element of toxicity within them that they need to deal with. Yeah. And usually it comes from leaky gut, as you just said. So, yeah.
Beautiful. Yep.
All the more important, just detoxification, removing heavy metals, healing the gut. Everything comes back to that. When we end up with solutions every week, we really come back to removing toxicity, healing the gut, supporting and protecting the body. I mean,
well, I think this is important to see too. There's a lot of detox mechanisms and things that you can use for detox out there. But whenever we see, how do I put this? Whenever, like with food is a good detox. You know, we have the greens that are coming out, phenomenal. But Cleanslate goes beyond that, because you see these things like the iron oxide, the possible grafts that were in there. Food is not meant, it wasn't created to detox those kinds of things. So you have to have another mechanism that was created to remove those things. And a lot of people, you know, your body, whenever you go through the natural means of detox through diet and herbs, not that those are bad, because it's really good to have a good diet, good herbs. I'm not saying that. But whenever you go through it and you look at how it's supposed to work with glutathione, with liver, with circulation, with half-life, whenever you have things like mercury, you have iron oxide, you have possible grafts and everything, those, they weren't meant to remove those. So you need something else that was created specifically for it and that can clean out those detoxification pathways. If this iron oxide that people are consuming in antibiotics, in their cosmetics, it's lowering their glutathione, your body doesn't have the ability to create the glutathione appropriately enough in order to remove things naturally the way it was supposed to be, because it has the stuff in there that's not supposed to be in there. Does that make sense? I hope that made sense to everybody.
Yes, that made sense to me.
Yeah.
It's sort of a chicken or the egg situation, right? So a lot of people talk about MTHFR. Oh, I have MTHFR. You have poor genetics, slow detox pathways, low glutathione. So your genetic environment, your epigenetics is really important to that. And so we're back to removing supporting the glutathione, removing the heavy metals, supporting the digestion. And like Shanna said, the chlorella, spirulina, those are wonderful, but those were really wonderful for back in our, maybe our great grandparents era. Mm-hmm. Now they're an amazing assistance. They, give nutrients to the body and they assist detox. But what we are assaulted with every single day is different than what our great grandparents were dealing with back in the day. So Cleanslate is necessary and needed to remove all of the toxins that we are assaulted with every day. And I personally mean assaulted.
Yeah, it's so true. And the MTHFR is that goes around repairing the DNA, and I think it's alcohol is one of the most terrible things. If you're having too much alcohol, it completely shuts down the MTHFR, and that's why people who overdrink alcohol have more of a high cancer risk, right? Because of that, it's just the DNA repair is just continuously being shut down.
Yep.
So yeah, just really important to watch your lifestyle as well, so your body can do a lot of the detoxification and healing. So you don't have to rely on, so much as well. It's just, it's like, it's everything. It's your diet, it's your lifestyle. It's all the extra bits and pieces you need now to deal with the combating all this toxicity that wasn't there 100 odd years ago, 150 years ago. Yeah.
Right. So we have a question about Restore, Zero In, and I'm going to add Cleanslate onto the question. How early in life can they take them? So we're talking about kids, and then we're talking about passing along the toxicity. Dr. Tina is going to be on Dr. Dory's show right after this. She's a pediatrician. She has done a few videos with Dr. Dory, and I believe that they're on the Root brand channel. So Zero In is not recommended for young children, I believe.
Under 5.
Okay, I don't want to misstate.
Yeah.
But Dr. Tina talks about it a lot. So Restore is, a little bit of Restore and a little bit of Cleanslate they've used for the kids. So on the ISNS videos where the doctors are all talking about it and they are giving their recommendations on what kids can take, I think that is the appropriate source for saying how much. And thank you to Sandy for posting Dr. Tina and Dr. Dory's link. They're coming up in just a few minutes. We'll post that in the group as well. And can you post a photo of the Restore in the group? It looks like gold. I know, right? Doesn't it? It's beautiful.
It does.
I believe that we have those photos in there. I will take a look and repost those. And I think I have them from the original, from the original video. So we'll post that as well. Lots of things to repost. We'll do that as soon as we're done here.
I should be writing a list.
We have this wonderful community that is here to support us. So when we don't do it, you guys all know how to get a
You
hold
guys
of
will
us.
let us know, hey, you said this. Come on.
Right, right. Still working your way through the guides. The guides are amazing. They're sorted by item. And we're really grateful to bring those to you so that you can go back and look for each specific item and what everything is all about, all the studies. So every time that Dr. Christina holds a video and she gives all of the studies, we take all of those pictures and we put those into our guides as well. So we're happy to bring you Dr. Christina's very hard work.
Yes.
So,
Awesome.
okay, well, I think we're going to end on time, and I think we should all head over to Dr. Dory and Dr. Tina. I'm so excited. Thank you, Caroline, for being here. Thank you for being our friend. Thank you for being part of our community. Thank you for all of your hard work and research. We are so grateful for you.
Oh, no, thank you. Thanks for having me on. It's just a pleasure to share it all, really, so everyone can see. It's not just me, you know.
Absolutely. So we can't wait for your next experiment to have you back. So
I love it.
That's the other thing. If anybody has any brilliant ideas, I'm sure, right? I'm sure we're always looking for the next thing. So that's amazing. And then we will put Caroline's information in the group as well, so that if anybody wants to contact her for a consultation or dry blood analysis or whatever, we will get you in contact with her. We're so grateful to have her here.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you
Bye,
next week.
everyone.
Bye-bye.